2024 was a year that RMC didn't build an iBox coaster. 2012, 2017, 2020, 2021, and what looks like to be 2025 is also part of this list. So is this a fact or a trend, or is it something that I'm pulling out of my ass for views? Is RMC iBox actually declining? Well, I truly believe we will start to see at least less and less of it, and recent numbers kind of support my view. First of all, we can ignore 2012, 2017, and 2020. These are all years where RMC just didn't build a single coaster for whatever reason. Whether their products didn't line up, or maybe something was just happening in the world in the year 2020, who knows? RMC just didn't build a coaster. Now, if you look at the years 2021, 2024, and 2025, it tells a much different story. RMC was building coasters these years, pretty much just as normal, except none of them were the iBox model. Across these 3 specific years, RMC opened up 5 Raptor models and 1 family coaster model. Now this is cherry-picking data, of course, but even within the last 5 years, RMC has only built 4 iBox coasters, so the model has been going down in numbers. But do I expect it to stay that way? Kind of. And with 2 years in a row, 2024 and 2025 not getting an iBox installation, we are starting to wonder, where's the next one? When's the next one? It also blows my mind that Wildcat's Revenge is a 2023 edition. It felt like just yesterday I was watching opening day videos on it. Like, that's actually crazy. But back to the topic, I think part of this is because of the popularity of the RMC Raptor. The RMC Raptor is such a good model. It is so popular with roller coaster enthusiasts, the general public, and parks. I mean, I think it is a crowd pleaser all around and delivers on pretty much every front except capacity. And the moving stations make it so parks with horrible operating policies like Six Flags are forced to operate a coaster at a good speed. Not getting into the whole IROC conversion thing with Six Flags parks, but it worked. Wonder Woman had great ops, so I think the RMC Raptor delivers in almost every front. Oh, and the model is extremely cheap and versatile. I still want to see more and more of it. I feel like we are getting the prototype clone and the Jersey Devil clone a lot. YOY looks amazing, and it shows that this model can do almost anything. The dueling family coaster extreme coaster matchup is not something a lot of models can brag about, yet let alone pull off, and the RMC Raptor looks like it's going to pull it off well. RMC so far has been pretty good at making dueling coasters. Six Flags, please make Twisted Colossus duel. It's so sick, and it's how it's intended to ride. Anyways, I would put my money down that YOY is also a solid ride and a good Raptor. Now, I feel like you could almost make an argument that there may never be another true wood coaster conversion for an iBox, but saying never is way too extreme, and I can name a ton of coasters I would love to see converted. Hurler at Carowinds, one of the wood coasters at Six Flags St. Louis, Bandit at Movie Park Germany, except the owner there has said that they specifically don't want to RMC that coaster, which makes absolutely no sense, by the way. But these are all some candidates that I would love to see an RMC wood conversion for. But the thing is, I don't know how likely any of these are. We are, to put it simply, running out of wood coasters to convert. All the really bad ones have already been done, and there's only a handful that are left. We don't have manufacturers like RCCA, or really just any company that's willing to invest into a massive wood coaster that could result in a failure like Quasi. Technology has improved, so just less likely in general, and also all these wood coaster companies are coming up with different track types, which by the way kind of stemmed from RMC. So they kind of influence the industry to be against them, and it's how it works. They start with a brand new rival product that no one has heard of, and now they have competitors that are trying to catch up to them with GCI Titan Track, and we even see Intamin making their Hot Racer model, and that is starting to become semi-popular. So there's just a lot less on the market for RMC to do. I think they're also really just starting to run into the problem that B&M had with their inverted coaster model. Everyone who wants one already has one. As much as I hate to say it, the invert was a fad in the 90s, and parks that didn't have an inverted coaster usually had a Vekoma SLC, so they had something in that market and filling that gap of wanting an inverted coaster. RMC is kind of running into the same problem where almost every major park in the US has an iBox coaster, and they don't need a second one. We see parks building Raptor and iBox combos like Magic Mountain, and they work well. I do say that the two rides are somewhat similar of a ride experience, but they are different enough to justify building both of them. But still, there's just not a lot of parks that need iBox. There are a ton more options overseas though, but RMC isn't exactly huge in that market for whatever reason. China could be a serious player in the amount of large wood coasters they have that need to be redone. They also have SB&O wood coasters that could use a treatment as well. Like, imagine a wood coaster RMC treatment. Like, that is utterly insane. I think it would be the best coaster in the world upon opening. They seem to have no problem building Raptors overseas though. We see additions like Skull and Hati being built in South Korea of all places, once again showing the success of the Raptor model. This being said, parks who do want an RMC are more likely than not to buy a Raptor, and even if they don't, they're more likely to buy a ground up edition than a wood coaster conversion, because it just works and it's less of a headache. Air Force 1 knocked everyone's expectations out of the ballpark. I think we now know that iBox can do what the Raptor has been able to do, and that is to slot into a small parts lineup for a cheap price, as well as being a more large-scale addition for a standout coaster. $13 million for a coaster that good is a steal of a deal, though I am kind of worried about how FunSpot is doing. Anyways, I think we're going to see a lot more ground-up iBox coasters in the next decade. The wood coaster conversion aspect of iBox is what I think is more likely to die. Another thing is that a lot of manufacturers have gotten to the point where they can replicate what RMC has to offer. They can't exactly match the feeling and look of an iBox, but they could pretty much match the forces. When RMC entered the industry, they were a complete game changer. Their formula to coasters were so much different than everyone else's, and they essentially started ejector airtime and shaped the modern coaster standards, and also modern enthusiast standards, like we all love ejector. Manufacturers like Intamin, Gerstlauer, Vekoma, Mach, maybe even Premier are picking up on this movement, and especially Intamin with like their Blitz model. They have insane ejector airtime while doing a lot of things the iBox can't. RMC hasn't exactly innovated in the past years. We will talk about it in a second, but I just think all these other manufacturers are now capable of delivering a somewhat similar experience, whereas before RMC was really unique to themselves. And also with the Raptor model being so popular, I am waiting for the first T-Rex to be built. It seems like a game changer in standout coasters. I think parks will be able to do a lot with a little money with this model, which is an exciting thing. So we will just have to wait and see, but I think this could be pulling RMC's attention away from the iBox model even more when it does drop. Now another point saving the use of iBox is their new Wild Moose line. These are small scale layouts that resemble a RMC take on a Wild Mouse, and they use iBox. So I really do hope this model takes off. It seems like such a quirky little ride, and I would take them over a Wild Mouse almost any day of the week. So if these catch on, iBox would not be dying because it would be all over the place with this model, but we still need to watch one sell, be built, and operate to say for sure. So while I don't think the iBox is dead, I do think it's going to become less and less common, especially the wood coaster conversion aspect. I know that's like RMC's specialty, but it seems so specific to build a whole business off of. Also, the RMC Raptor is just so popular and versatile, so I think the iBox's days as the primary RMC model is over. I think we're going to expect more Raptors and iBox coasters to be built over the next decade, and recent years are already showing this. This combined with the fact that the other manufacturers are starting to catch up, I just think it's a highly competitive world out there, and RMC hasn't done much innovation since its inception. Now, no, don't take this the wrong way. RMC has a formula for success, and they are replicating this success. I love RMC. They had built a good amount of my top coasters. They built my number 3 coaster. They're one of the most solid manufacturers in delivering pure quality. I know I've made so many videos hating on RMC on this channel, but I do really think they're one of the best manufacturers out there. So the iBox isn't dying, but don't expect a new edition from it every year, because that isn't happening now, and I don't think it will be happening often. That's all for today's video, guys. As always, make sure to like and subscribe, join the Discord. We have some super exciting things coming up. Link in the description. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.